Welcome back to South Bend, Indiana. Lance Wynn alongside Kyle Smith. Glad to have you here for the championship ball game of the 2015 ISC Men's World Fast Pitch. And Kyle, when you look at this matchup, the Toronto Gators taking on the top rank and two-time defending champion Hill United Chiefs. And when we look at the Toronto Gator team, do you see any positives with those two long, grueling ball games that they had to play in order to get here today?
I think the positive is their bats are going. Their bats are warm, they're ready. I'm sure they actually probably would have liked to play it right away and just keep rolling. But the positive is they're fresh, they're rested. They had some rest, got a probably bite to eat, maybe a little rest and ready to go. So positive, they had some time. The bats are warm, they're ready to go.
And when you look on the other side, Hill United, they, of course, had the day off, so they could just sort of relax. And do you see that as a bit of an advantage?
Well, I do, because just for them, it's just another day in the tournament, really, and how their week's gone. It's been one game a day. They played one game a day. Everybody's rested. They had the same routine all week long. That wasn't interrupted. And, you got to give maybe a slight edge to a fresh Adam Fulkerd over a worked Gators squad.
So with that said, of course, we're about ready to get started here, and we will naturally set the batting order for you. First for the visitors from the Hill United Chiefs, and it'll be Brad Ezekiel that'll lead things off, followed by Jeff Ellsworth and Nick Shales, of course. Then Steve Mullally batting in the cleanup spot. Jason Hill bats fifth. Mark Johnson sixth. Joel Southam, the hero from last night, batting seventh. James Todd Hunter is in the eighth spot. Jason Sanford, that's Sanford, will round out the top nine. Defensively for the Toronto Gators, Thomas Inoka, Ben Inoka, and Wayne Lalu left to right in the outfield. Jeremy O'Reilly is on the hot corner. Shane Boland at short. Nathan Nukunuku at second. Brad Roan at first. And Kalen Compain, the hero in the semi. Of course, he'll be catching for Kyle Linton. So Brad Ezekiel, the leadoff man for the Hill United Chiefs, a very similar lineup that has saw the Chiefs go undefeated up to this point. A similar lineup with the exception of Kyle Linton in the circle for the Toronto Gators. Sean Cleary, of course, has logged 13 innings today, and Kyle Linton has been very effective in relief. Nick Hayes also in the fold. Count 2-2 here, and we expect, Kyle, that this Gators team may have to pitch by committee here, having played two previous games, as Bradley Ezekiel lifts one up deep, and you can get out of this ballpark right now. Talk about putting a charge in the lineup. Bradley Ezekiel, a leadoff home run. He has given the Hill United Chiefs a 1-0 lead.
Bradley jumps out, middle cut, drives it to left center, and make it 1-0 just like that.
So it'll be a question of whether or not the Gators can slow up this Chiefs roll. It was a tough, hard-fought win earlier in the week, an extra inning ball game from the Chiefs, and I think that sort of set them and tested them and set them on their way. We discussed that earlier, Kyle, and it was the fact that they had their challenge, they've met their challenge, and now they're going to be awfully tough to beat.
Well, and they're going to be tough to beat, but I was actually about to say, as Bradley at the plate, he didn't give me a chance, but Kyle Linton actually defeated this Hill United Chiefs team in Erie 2 weeks ago. So he showed a good showing against them, though figure it'll be a short leash here against Hill United before you see someone up and throwing, getting loose down in the bullpen. But right now, a quick 1-0 lead. Couldn't draw it any better. Your leadoff man drives one, and it's 1-0 for the two-time defending champs.
So Jeff Ellsworth now with a look at Linton, and Linton is low, and the count now 2-1 strike. So this lineup doesn't get any easier. You've got Ezekiel in the leadoff spot, Ellsworth batting 2, and then you got Nick Shales as a big swing and a miss. Good rise ball from Linton. And it's been a real pleasure to watch Kyle Linton kind of grow and go from the sort of medium ranks up into the world class here and getting the start at this ISC World Championship. And that's his first ever swing and a miss. So down goes Ellsworth. So a good bounce back pitch from Linton records the first out of the ball game. And that will bring up Nick Shales.
Well, a great pitch by Kyle Linton gets Jeff Ellsworth. And Elsie's had a up and down week in terms of his standards. And a little history lesson for you, Lance. It's been 20 years since the Toronto Gators have been in a championship ball game. Whereas for the Hill United Chiefs, they're chasing some history to just become the third team and string a three-peat together. Of course, the Long Beach Nighthawks back in the 70s, and of course, recently, the Jarvis Travelers.
It's not a bad history lesson there, Mr. Smith. Well done, well put, as Shales fouls one off. 0-2 to Nick Shales. Of course, a mainstay on Team Australia. The anchor of that club and also the anchor here for the Hill United Chiefs. And a swing and a miss. So down goes Shales. Second straight strikeout for Kyle Linton.
Lance, the third team on the field today, and they've been working all week long trying to get to this point. Your umpires are home plate umpire Brandon Bloom. Down at first base is John Hand. Third base umpire is Matthew Leclerc. Left field is Bill Pickett, and right field is Ed Oliver.
So you're right. The third team is out on the diamond as the extra two umpires here in the final, and it'll be Steve Mullally. And if there's anyone that thrives on pressure and the big games, it's Steve Mullally, and that's a chopper to short, and Shane Boland pick up the glove too early. Mullally had a notion. So E6, looks like he just took his eye off that ball, and that will allow Mullally to reach base.
Well, I'm sure Shane thinking he's got that one rigged up and ready to get it across the diamond, but lift that glove, don't stay down, and it's through the wickets. And two out air puts Mullally at first. Mullally had notions of second, just took a soft turn at first, was just thinking, he's going to leg that one out, not realizing it was out in left field. And then had notions of it, but threw out the parachute and said, I'll just stand here.
That's good that Mullally had to pull out the parachute for sure, Kyle. So it will be Jason Hill now as he looks at a rise ball out of the zone. 1 ball, no strikes, 1-0 to score, courtesy a leadoff home run from Brad Ezekiel. And that pitch on the outside corner. So a good pitch from Linton evens the count at 1-1. And a big swing and a miss. So Linton's got his good stuff. Ezekiel jumped all over it in the first at bat, but 2 strikeouts and an error have extended this inning. But a 1-2 count now to Hill. And Linton goes down, and Mullally trying to go, but he is gunned out. So caught stealing is Mullally. That will end the inning. And just like that, 1-0 though. The Hill United Chiefs lead this one. Back with the home half after this.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
Welcome back here. As we head to the bottom of the first inning, let's set the batting order for the Toronto Gators. It'll be Ben Anoka to lead things off. Nathan Nukunuku batting second. Thomas Anoka is in the 3 spot. Shane Boland bats cleanup. Brad Rona in the 5 hole. Wayne Lalu batting 6th and leading the team in hitting. Jeremy O'Reilly at 7. Kalen Compain 8th, and Frank Poynton round out the 9 for the Toronto Gators. Defensively for the Hill United Chiefs, Mark Johnson out in left field. Brad Ezekiel in center, and Jeff Ellsworth in right. Nick Shales in the hot corner. James Toddhunter at short. Joel Southam at second. Steve Mullally at first. And Jason Sanford, that's Sanford, period, will be catching for Adam Fulker. So Ben Anoka has been the consummate leadoff man here. And he looks at a called strike from Fulker. So the count now 2 balls and 1 strike. So a good matchup right here. Of course, always a pleasure to see Mr. Laflemme as Anoka looks at a second strike to even the count at 2-2. A fine job here at the Worlds. At 2-2, missing in. So a good test. The Toronto Gators have had a busy afternoon. Had to first dispose of the New York Gremlins. Did that 4-3. As that one is lifted foul. Then another hard-fought battle, 5-4 win over the A1 Bombers. And that earned them a ticket to face Hill United here in this ball game. Hill, of course, undefeated up to this point. They've been very, very methodical in working their way through the draw. 1 game a day if you can get away with that. And that ball, ground ball, sharp hot. Mullally struggle with it and not in time to get the speedy Anoka. Tough bounce for Steve Mullally. That's a tough hop, but I think if you put your body in front of it, you make the play. So I think that's got to be an E3. No offense, Lally, but that's just the way it has to be. And that'll bring up Nathan Nukunuku. So after a bit of a conference and set to go here. And that pitch inside. So of course, Kyle, when you look at these guys on the diamond here, a lot of mix and matching. Guys were playing for their own countries through the World Tournament, and now they come up, get on their club teams, and a big swing and a miss there. Got to be some adjustments made.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think that's, we've talked about it this week. That's one reason why we've seen so many upsets this week, is because the teams that played together through the summer are the teams that had some upsets because they were a cohesive unit kind of had that gel going together. But at the end of the day, I mean, you still look at talent's going to carry the day. And I think you've got two of the best teams in the world, definitely in the top 5. So not surprised to see these two teams. But as the week played out, things kind of correct itself. But it always makes for fun when you get upsets.
The 2-1 from Folkard missing up, so that'll run the count to 3-1. Lance Wynn, Kyle Smith, Joe Todd, glad you've decided to tune in here as we wrap up this fantastic tournament. And that pitch inside. So Nuku works a walk. And something you don't see too often, Kyle. 2 base runners in the first inning with Adam Folkard in the circle.
No, and Adam struggled a little bit this week with his control and command. We've talked about at length the landing pad. They were out there packing it back in with a tamper in between games, so doing their best to make that landing pad all that much better. But both pitchers got to work with it, so it's an even playing field at the end of the day.
And give the grounds crew credit, of course, taking extra care on that mound after there were some feedback given. And Thomas Inoka now looks at a pitch that is down in the zone. So 1 ball, no strikes. So we'll see if the advantage, and usually if a team has played earlier, they have the advantage on the team that has not, but 2 long games in the hot sun. I don't know if you'd call that an advantage. And a swing and a miss.
Well, it definitely takes a toll on you. And I mean, when you look at this, the Gators have gotten out early in the ball game here today. They scored first in the early game against the Gremlins and took advantage of that. They'd like to get out in front, had to end up coming back in their game this afternoon.
That bunt attempt goes awry by Thomas Inoka. And you're right, and I think that it was a bit of something to get used to for a team that had mercied the last 5 teams they'd played. They ran into a New York Gremlins team that stretched them to 9. And then, of course, the tough A1 Bombers where they were trailing. And a good cut on a good pitch on the outer half of the plate.
Yeah, and it was the young kid, Colin Campaign, who carried the day, scoring all 5 runs for the Toronto Gators in that 5-4 win. And Adam getting a towel, Malali to clean off his glasses, it looks like.
And not a bad time for a bit of a breather. No one away, 2 men aboard, and I think the book on Adam really, Kyle, is that get to him early because you really don't have a chance as the innings go on. He seems to get stronger. And a swing and a miss. Good pitch on the inside part of the plate to sit down Thomas Inoka. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Shane Bolin.
Well, Bolin, I'm sure, wants to atone for that little hiccup in the top half of this inning. But a nice drop by Adam, working to the inside corner on Thomas Inoka after putting those first 2 runners on.
So back to work here for number 13. And he misses down. A good crowd on hand here. There was a very good crowd for the Legends final, and even more people have filtered in here for the Championship Open final. And that pitch is in there for a strike. So the count even now at 1 ball, 1 strike. It's been a very good week of ball. Top-notch fast pitch. And the weather conditions have been ideal. And missing in. So 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, I mean, you can't control the weather as a tournament host committee. You can do everything in your power to control a whole lot of things, but at the end of the day, Mother Nature wins out, and this week it has been a blessing in disguise.
A one-hopper to Mullally over to second, not in time to get the runner. So they do get Bolin at first. Lally unassisted, but that allows Inoka to go to third and Nuku to second for Brad Rona. So a chance here for the Gators to open the scoring if Rona can deliver with a 2-out hit here.
It'd actually be interesting on that call because instead of the force when Lally touches the bag, now you got to tag him, and Todd Hunter didn't get a tag down. So had he got that tag on, would have been interesting. And Todd Hunter thinking just touch that bag, glove high, would have been interesting.
And that pitch in there for a strike. And Mullally would have had to turn and do that immediately, go to second and back to first.
And with the speed of Bolin, you aren't going to get him in the return throw.
So getting one was the important thing, and they did that. As Folkard missing inside to run the count even at 1-1. And missing in again. So 2 balls and 1 strike.
This team for the Toronto Gators, loaded for bear and lots of big game experience.
And that ball up the middle, scooped up, couldn't handle it. Todd Hunter, 1 run comes in to score. 2nd run comes in to score. A 2-run single for big Brad Rona has given the Toronto Gators a 2-0 lead.
Well, Rona just pops that down and over the top of Adam Folkard, off the glove of Todd Hunter and out to center field. So a 2 RBI single for Rona. Score the game's first 2 runs.
Batting 6th, right fielder, number 44, Wayne Lalu.
So 2-1 to score now as the Toronto Gators answer and tack on another one, and it'll be Wayne Lalu who steps in. The team's leading hitter, that'll get away. Rona will scamper down to second on the wild pitch. So really, when you look at the Toronto Gators, they hadn't gotten a whole lot from Brad Rona really this week, Kyle, and here he is now in the championship game, steps up and delivers a clutch RBI single.
Well, the big boys and the prime players, they show up in the big games, and Rona does it again, driving in the game's first 2 runs. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest deficit Hill United's faced here this week.
And that ball is driven out deep. You can get out of this ballpark. Wayne Lalu with a 3-run home run. I'm sorry, a 2-run home run. Tack on 2 more, and it's 4-1 for the Gators. Wow, Kyle.
Lalu gets RBIs 15 and 16 here at the World Tournament in a big way in the biggest game. And they jump to a 4-0 lead. 4-1, sorry.
So that'll bring up Jeremy O'Reilly, and man, oh man, you talk about events unfolding here that were unexpected. And maybe those 2-game warm-up have certainly made a difference. Now, let's remember, it is only the bottom of the first inning, and the Chiefs still have to get there at bat. So,
well, and I mean, we've talked about before on the broadcast how many times, you know, when you talk about coming through the losers bracket, As much as,
Batter is third baseman.
you're tired, you're worn down, it's been a long day at the park, the advantage sometimes lies with the team that has the hot bats, the bats going, because they just keep on rolling. Now, we've seen it the last handful of years here at the World Tournament. The Hill United Chiefs have gone through the front door, not the back, and they've dispatched of those teams. But, maybe this is the year where the team coming the back way maybe tells a tale.
And it was a few years back where the Kitchener-Hallman Twins had to go the backdoor route, and they managed to pull out the W. That, of course, before the Hill United Chiefs went on their 2-year winning streak, and they're looking, of course, for their third straight. An 0-2 count to Jeremy O'Reilly. And that was a nibble. Didn't get the call. And the count now 1-2. So an error, a walk, strikeout, ground out, single that scored a run, as down goes O'Reilly, down go the Toronto Gators, but not before they put 4 runs on the board. 4-1 to score. We head to the top of the second after this.
Choice Hotels is pleased to announce a new partnership with the ISC for tournament travel. Book online at choicehotels.com and use the ISC code 00228500. Choice Hotels and ISC share your passion for the game. Our new partnership makes it easy for you to stay and play at one of the thousands of Choice Hotels across North America. Remember, choicehotels.com and use the ISC code 00228500. For tournaments, vacations, and business travel, make Choice Hotels your choice.
In the Quad Cities. For lodging packages, go to visitquadcities.com.
To South Bend, Indiana, the Belleville Softball Complex. Lance Wynn, Kyle Smith, Joe Todd. The Betts brothers and, of course, TPC. Taylor Weldon on hand. Thanks for all your help, of course, putting this event together and helping us with our telecast.
Number 10, Jason.
So it'll be Hill, who, of course, was up at the plate when Steve Mullally got caught stealing in the first. So a leadoff home run by Brad Ezekiel has been erased by a 4 spot put up by the Toronto Gators in the bottom. And Hill gets another look here at Kyle Linton, who starts him off with a strike. Congratulations, of course, to the Durham Bulls, who are the 2015 ISC Legends champions. As you see Linton trying to work the outer half. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Jason Hill swings over that pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Linton. You saw Campaign try to frame that rise ball to no avail, and the count now 2-2. So the crowd in a bit of shock here after those 4 runs as Linton misses up and runs the count to 3-2. So lots of game left here. The Gators, of course, with plenty of work to do here. This is a very potent Hill United lineup. And a swing and a miss. So down goes Jason Hill. Third strikeout of the ball game for Kyle Linton. And in will step Mark Johnson.
Well, for Jason Hill, he gets up after that rise ball and just can't catch it. So Mark Johnson comes to the plate. He's been having a good, solid week putting the ball in play, and it's on a line most times. But I said off air, you know, you put 4 on the board. Now it comes down to Kyle Linton and how well can he throw. Get you a few innings and then have Sean Cleary come off the bench to shut the door later in the ball game.
I think if you're the Toronto Gators, that would be the ideal scenario. As Linton bends one over the outer corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mark Johnson. 4-1 the score here. We are in the top of the second inning. And another one floated, but high. And that one is bounced. So 3-1 to count. See if Linton can't battle back in the count here. And that pitch is lifted up into shallow, coming in Wayne Lalu. And he drops it. And rounding second and into third is Mark Johnson. So not quite sure what happened, as it could have been caught up in the light somewhat, but that ball was hit a mile high. And of course, with the sun not completely down, still a little bit dusk and tough for some to see. So E9 allows Johnson to go all the way to third base. Give him credit for legging one out.
Well, Lalu came a mile for that one.
I'm still sort of wondering why why Nathan Nuku didn't call him off on that ball. It came down just on the edge of the lip of the grass. So Joel Southam now, he's in there with a chance to trim that deficit. And it really is about opportunities. And that ball is lifted out into left field. Anoka, the catch, and no chance to get Mark Johnson. So a sac fly for Joel Southam. Closes the deficit. And it's now a 4-2 ball game.
Well, you make errors, and teams like this, whether it be the Gators or the Chiefs, are going to make you pay. And they do just that. The drop fly ball, and promptly Southam comes up with a sac fly.
So James Todhunter now with his first look at Kyle Linton. And Linton has to sort of regroup. He did all he could. He got the fly ball he wanted. Unfortunately, it wasn't caught. And that led to a sac fly. As that's a high chopper, charging it, and the throw in time. So a good play by Shane Boland to retire the side, but not before the Hill United Chiefs put one on the board. 4-2 the score. Back with the home half after this.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
So back here, 4-2 ball game in favor of the Toronto Gators. So our resident statistician, Mr. Taylor Weldon, says 4 of the 6 runs have come unearned so far here in this ball game, and it'll be Kalen Campaign. So Sean Cleary is warming up in the Gators bullpen. Campaign will be followed by Poynton and then back to the top of the shop in Beninoka. And Adam Folkert comes in and gasses it up with a tough drop ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Campaign had a notion, but that ball was in the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. Five RBIs in the last game for Campaign. And he definitely went around on that. So the count even now at 2-2. And a swing and a miss. 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Adam Folkert. And it'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Frank Poynton. Poynton has been instrumental in the Gators' run here, not just today, but since losing earlier in the week. And he looks at a strike in the inside corner. And that pitch missing up. So the count even at 1-1. Good mix and match you got going there. Looking good to the neck down. 1-2 to Poynton, and a swing and a miss. 3 straight strikeouts dating back an inning for Adam Folkert, and he'll take it back to the top of the shop in Beninoka. Beninoka, of course, reached base on an error and scored a run.
Well, the top of the shop, and you're the first one to turn your lineup over. Always a race to do that first, and it's the Gators who do it. Second time through, now you make your adjustments.
And that pitch in there for a strike. Folkert's been known to really take it up a notch when he's surrendered runs. And that pitch is a high hopper, fielded by Todd Hunter over in time. So 1-2-3, down go the Gators. We played 2 complete. We're headed to the top of the 3rd after this on the ISC Network.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill on the grounds can't be beat. Reduced rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at ct16@greenbaynet.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for their support of the broadcast program. At Cooper Tire, we make tires for people, not just cars. Our brand promise is that Cooper Tires perform on the road so drivers can perform everywhere those roads take them, because life is a journey. From the everyday motorist to the most demanding high-performance off-road and motorsports enthusiasts, we have tires for you. Cooper Tire is proudly based in Findlay, Ohio, and we have manufacturing, sales and distribution, technical and design operations within our family of companies in more than a dozen countries around the world. Visit us online at coopertire.com to learn more. Cooper Tire, proud of where we've been, confident in where we're going.
Welcome back here, as it will be the number 9 hitter in Jason Sanford. Then back to the top in Brad Ezekiel and Jeff Ellsworth. Looks like there's a new right fielder for the Toronto Gators after Wayne Lalu lost that one in the lights. Aaron Trude has come in, and Trude certainly defensively much stronger. Offensively, you give that edge to Lalu. But we'll see how they manage to work it.
Aaron Trude now playing right field.
It would be tough if you decided to take Lalu's bat out of the lineup, especially after he's already hit a home run.
Leading off the top of the 3rd inning for the Chiefs, catcher number 8, Jason Sanford.
So Sanford with his first look at Kyle Linton. And Jason Sanford has had himself an exceptional summer, Joe. He's, of course, collected a couple of golds, and he's been a mainstay on Team Canada.
He's had a lot of these guys on this team have had a busy summer and a great summer, but because of that Pan Am medal and the ISF gold medal,
Thank you.
these guys must have some really good bosses.
That's for sure. So it looks like Trude will go in, and potentially Frank Poynton will go out. Wayne Lalu will slide into the DP spot to keep his bat in the lineup. We will see how that unfolds. Hard chopper fielded neatly by Brad Rona this time. And a good job, 3 unassisted to get Sanford. Now you remember, Joe, yesterday or a couple days ago in a 7th inning, Brad Rona had got a ground ball and didn't go down on it, made an error, and it ended up costing them a run. This time he gets in front of the ball, knee down, and makes sure that he secures it for the easy out.
Fundamentals.
That's right. So Brad Ezekiel now, of course, he led off the game with a home run, and this one is lifted a mile high, but Thomas Hinoka settles under it and makes the grab. So first pitch swinging was Ezekiel, and that one is a fly ball that goes for naught, and will bring up Jeff Ellsworth, the right fielder.
Right fielder, Jeff Ellsworth.
We've been privy to a lot of good fastball this week, and by both of these two teams, Joe, when you stop and you think, some good ball games. And Linton working high in the zone, too far outside for a ball. And missing down, 2-0. And a good cut from Ellsworth.
Just missed that. Got about half the bat on that ball there.
And even gone down almost to one knee, so you know he had a healthy cut. And that ball chopped. Bolin over to first in time. So a quick 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Linton and the Toronto Gators. First time they've given up nothing. 4-2 the score. Back with the home half after this.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
Back here at the Belleville Softball Complex. In between innings, the Blue Crew getting together and heading over to the Hill United bench or dugout for a lineup discussion. It doesn't appear that much has come of it, and we're not quite sure the reasoning behind it, but no disciplinary action at this time. So
Terry Bader questioned something, and then home plate umpire Brandon Bloom went to see Bruce Spearman, the head umpire in chief, who was sitting in that area. So we'll see if Bruce comes back up. We might have an insight on that.
So it'll be Nathan Nukunuku, the number 2 hitter, followed by Thomas Inoka and Shane Bolin. The scheduled 3 for the Toronto Gators here. 4-2 in favor of Toronto. And Fulkert hits the target, and that's a strike. 0-1 the count. So you see Nathan Nukunuku kind of favoring his left hip. Not sure if he may have tweaked something in the batter's box. And he's being attended to, and they are calling for the trainer. And he's going to try to stretch that out. And he is going to get back in the box and see what he can do. Championship game, you certainly want to take advantage of it. You never know when you can get back into one, if ever. And Fulkard missing down and out. So the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd, Kyle Smith. Bringing you all the action here. As that one goes off the foot. So fortunately, you take the pain away from your hip because now it's down on his foot.
Yeah, forget the hip.
So maybe that's not such a bad thing for Nukunuku. It's all about focus, right? And a time called and resuming. As he'll check that. And yes, he did. So down goes Nuku Nuku. 5 strikeouts for Folkart. And that will bring up the left fielder Thomas Inoka. Thomas Inoka struck out in the first. And Adam misses up and out of the zone. Fans out in the bleachers out in the outfield. And a packed house around the infield. Everyone enjoying this ball game. It was a scorcher of a day. And that one is chopped and will go foul. Not even sure how Thomas Inoka got a bat on that show. That pitch was up around eye level.
Good reactionary time there by Thomas. Having that bat ready in that position. Thomas and Adam playing a little cat and mouse here right now.
And that's in there for a called strike. I like you. You went with the cat and mouse this time. You know, last time you went with the cat and dog.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite sure what that meant.
I got cats and dogs that don't get along. My neighborhood.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Swing and a miss. Down goes Thomas Inoka. Adam Folkart has struck out 5 of the last 6 batters that he has faced. And up will step Shane Bolin, who grounded out in the first. So since surrendering those 4 runs, Folkart has been untouchable as he starts bowling off with a strike on the inside corner. And missing down. So the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Important hold here. Important for Folkart and the Chiefs to give up nothing. And a swing and a miss. So down goes Bolin, striking out the side, Adam Folkart. And that's all she wrote for the 3rd. We head to the 4th here in South Bend. Back in a moment.
For all your team uniform and equipment needs, fastball, slow pitch, and hockey, for players and teams, make sure you visit Corbett's Source for Sports on the South Service Road in Oakville, Ontario. There's a lot of deals to be had on all kinds of equipment. Thank you to Paul Hurd and Corbett's Source for Sports for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
The Quad Cities. For lodging packages, go to visitquadcities.com.
Of course, Joe, Quad Cities our next stop next year for the 2016 ISC World Championships.
Looking forward to that.
The 70th anniversary.
70th anniversary. Seeing Lynn Hunt and her group.
So Nick Shales, Steve Mullally, and Jason Hill will step in for the Hill United Chiefs here in the top of the 4th inning. Shales struck out in the first. And Nick Shales is one of the top 5 ball players in the world, and he specializes in making adjustments. So if you got him one time, you better come with something different the next. As Linton all over the outside corner.
Kyle Linton's held his composure very well here. It's probably the biggest game he's been involved with. Yes, he was at the WSBC in Saskatoon, but really didn't get the ball too much out there.
Not like this, Joe. This is a championship game, and you get the start in the circle going up against the 2-time defending champs and Adam Fulkert. I think it's safe to say this is his biggest game, as that pitch in there for a strike, and Shales not happy with it, felt it was down in the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Either way, it's not his choice or his call. And Linton tries to work the outer half, and that's low, and even to count at 2-2. And that one gets away, but good hustle from Campaign, but no one on base, so no need about anyone advancing.
Always like to see hustle.
Good habits are good habits, and you should keep them that way. And a good cut from Shales. Didn't miss that one by much, Joe.
No.
And a swing and a miss. So second time around, Linton gets Shales swinging. And that will bring up Steve Mullally. Of course, Mullally reached base on an error. And was caught stealing. So Mullally with a second go here against Kyle Linton. 4-2 ball game in favor of the Toronto Gators, as Linton works the outside corner but doesn't catch any part of the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 in the first from Hill United, 1 in the second, 4 in the first for the Gators, and that's where we're at right now. Big rip from Mullally.
Great rise ball there.
Seems like Mullally waits for real pressure games, the money games, and that's when he seems to shine brightest.
Well, this will be a test for him. He's in that situation tonight.
And a good pitch on the outside corner from Linton. So Kyle Linton has brought his good stuff to this game here, Joe. He's been awfully tough. And reaching out and fouling that one off.
Steve did a good job of protecting that plate. With 2 strikes. Reached out and fouled that one off. Staying alive here.
And you're right, Joe. Some hitters would have left it, taken the pitch, got called out, and cried about it. But Mullally knows a lenient outside corner, got to protect it.
Oh, we're halfway through the game. We're in the 4th inning now, so you're down to the point where you start counting innings and start counting outs.
And a big swing and a miss. So Kyle Linton has found his good stuff. Mows down Shales and then Mullally. And that will bring up Jason Hill, who was a strikeout victim in the second. Five strikeouts for Kyle Linton. Impressive considering who he's done it against. And a nibble out there, but nothing doing. 1 ball, no strikes. And had a notion, did Hill, but he didn't chase that rise ball. And Linton's going to weigh his options. It's always good to weigh your options.
Always good.
Two balls, no strikes. And a nibble there, but nothing doing. So 3-0. Good eye from Jason Hill. So Sean Cleary's still warming up in the Gators bullpen. Or if not in the bullpen, on the adjacent diamond. And that missed 4-pitch walk to Jason Hill. So with 2 out, Hill United have a base runner, and that'll bring up Mark Johnson. Of course, it was Johnson that lifted that sky-high fly ball that Wayne Lalu dropped. And he scampered all the way to third base and ended up coming in to score on a sac fly from Joel Southern. So with 2 away and a runner on, Kyle Linton back to work. And that one gets away not far, but it still allows Jason Hill to take second base. A good time for a quick meeting.
I imagine just a reassurance and Kyle, get in there and do your stuff and throw your best pitch. Don't try and pick any special corners and stay within your own game. So important.
So Linton now to face Johnson. And he floats one out of the zone. And I think if you talk about the Gators pitching by committee, I think you have to be happy if Kyle Linton can get you out of this inning.
Extremely, yes. This is the top part of that order.
And that's on the outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike. And that one floats wide. 3-1 to Mark Johnson, the left fielder. And a healthy cut, swing and a miss.
He's living and dying on that rise ball.
Well, you know, regardless of the amount of innings that Sean Cleary has logged, Kyle Linton has also logged a few. And even if he hasn't pitched, he's been out in the sun as well for 2 long ball games. And a swing and a miss. So Kyle Linton rebounds back to strike out the side. Nothing doing for the Hill United Chiefs. We're on our way to the home half of 4. 4-2. favor of the Gators.
The law firm of Fireman Steinmetz Dea built its reputation on getting fair compensation for victims of serious personal injury or catastrophic claims. With a combined 90 years of experience and a fierce dedication to achieving results, fireman lawyers have recovered millions of dollars every year for our clients. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, a slip and fall, or as a result of any other act of negligence, when we represent you, we're committed to getting the results you deserve. With the lawyers at Fireman Steinmetz Dea, you are not alone. Contact us through firemanlawyers.com for a free consultation. No legal fees are billed until you receive your settlement. We thank Jack Fireman for his generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Welcome back to South Bend, Indiana, the fantastic Belleville Softball Complex on the north side. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd, Kyle Smith, glad to bring you the 2015 ISC Men's Championship right here on the ISC Network.
First baseman, Brad Rona.
So it'll be Brad Rona that steps in, of course, responsible for an RBI single in the first that cashed in 2. And that ball is lifted up and caught on a line by Mark Johnson. So Johnson, covering a lot of ground, gets under it and makes the grab for the first out of the bottom of the 4th inning.
Next batter, designated player, Wayne Lawley.
So Wayne Lalu now. Of course, Lalu dropped that fly ball, but it was Lalu that crunched a mammoth shot, a 2-run shot. Rona, of course, with a single that cashed in 2. And Lalu promptly came up and cashed in Rona with a 2-run shot. Lalu has been the team's best hitter up to this point, although Beninoka has been will give him a very close race. And that pitch missing in. So 2-0 the count. And don't think that Adam Folker doesn't know that Lalu is taking him deep.
These guys have had their matchups over the years.
That's in there. Team Australia, Team New Zealand. And these two have met numerous times.
Club championships down under.
And Lalu cue balls that one foul. Tough to find a seat here, as it's a pretty full house. And that ball is driven out. Foul. How'd you go for a second there, Joe? I know, had me going, actually.
Thought I had a pretty good eye on it.
I did. I just know that someone needed to duck.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because that was a rope.
Stay away from that production trailer out there.
And that ball floated up. 3 balls, 2 strikes, the count. Lalu with tremendous bat speed.
And very quick hands. You got to figure out that the speed of Adam Folkard, but the quick hands, the bat speed.
And that's reached out and poked foul.
And he pulled it foul.
And he pulled it foul, way foul. And that tells you, and on a line too. So, well, we discussed Lalu's ability in the previous game to hit to all fields. He hits for average, for power. He can bunt as well. He has good speed and great instincts on the bases. So you look at this guy, and he's a consummate professional ball player.
5-tool player.
And that pitch down low. So Lalu tiptoes down to first base with a 1-out walk. And that will bring up Jeremy O'Reilly.
Next batter, third base.
O'Reilly struck out to end the first inning rally. So once again, he has to follow up Wayne Lalu. And a swing and a miss. O'Reilly a tad bit tardy on that pitch. And Fulkert picks that corner. So no balls and 2 strikes to O'Reilly. Cooled off just a bit here, Joe, which is nice as O'Reilly swings and he's gone.
Yes, from where we were about 3:30 or 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Brings up the catcher, Kalen
8 strikeouts for Adam Fulkert. And it was sizzling out there earlier. And nice for a bit of relief. Not that we've been sizzling up here in the press box, mind you, but
The air-conditioned press box.
yes, as it should be. You don't got to tell all our viewers about some of the perks we have, Joe.
Sorry.
You know? Jeez, tell the world, why don't you? Put it online.
Cat out of the bag.
Goodness. People to think we're sweating up
Yeah.
here doing all these games.
Yeah.
so nice up here. Joe had an opportunity to take a nap.
Well, and that's funny to see. He didn't want that aired out now about Joe and his nap time. You know. You're right. Cake, and the guy ate half a cake, had a nap. Gotta like that gig.
Great carrot cake supplied by the host committee.
Well, there isn't any left, that's clear.
One of the perks.
So the 1-2 to Campaign. And that one is lifted up, and Joe can't get it. His belly's way too full. So he'll have to let that one drop, fall out of play. So Kalen Campaign, a strikeout victim in the second, up here with a 1-2 count. A man aboard in Wayne Lalu, 2 away. And he looks at strike 3, so turn that K the other way and grab some pine, and that will do it as we head to our slide to 5. 4-2 in favor of the Toronto Gators. Back in a moment.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Number 11, Sean.
Welcome back here as we do our slide to 5. 4-2 the score, and it will be Joel Southam, followed by James Todhunter and Jason Sanford. I'm still trying to get this new tongue adjusted to what I'm trying to do, Joe.
Nothing wrong with that after
So
145 games.
Yeah, so we've been slower than
We've only broadcasted 24, but I think we've witnessed 145.
Well, I think you're right, and it's been a trifecta today, so hopefully the viewers can cut me a little bit of slack. I know you won't.
No.
But, yeah, I know you and the truck won't either, but that's okay. So Southern, Todhunter, and Sanford, a chance here to try and cut into this 4-2 Gator lead, and it is Sean Cleary that has come in to take over for Kyle Linton. And just as what we talked about, Joe, if Linton can get you to the 5th, you got to like where you stand if you're the Gators.
Exactly. I bet you all they were really trying to get through was once through the order, but he gave them that bonus time. He went once through the order, thirds down. So
hats off to Kyle Linton, an outstanding performance and an outstanding tournament. And one of the reasons the Gators are playing here in this championship ball game.
Fifth inning for the Chiefs. Second baseman, Joel Southern.
So Joel Southern had a sacrifice that cashed in a run. It's always nice when people have nice things to say about you, Joe.
it is.
As Southern runs up like he's going to slap and takes for a ball. So Sean Cleary, of course, logged 13 plus innings heading into this ball game today. Okay, not over the course of the week, just today. And he's back in the circle working for the Gators, and that pitch in there for a strike. I think funny how you get to the championship game and things cool down a bit. All of a sudden now you may be a little more motivated. Had a chance to get a bit of a breather, and here he is back and working. And that pitch fouled off. Southern, of course, was the hero in last night's ball game against the A1 Bombers. Drove in all the runs.
Well, you talk about the rest that he might have had, but right now he's probably just riding on adrenaline. You know, they've aimed at this goal since last February or March, where they started going in the gyms and having some indoor practices or throwing their 100 pitches after supper every night to probably himself or Sean and Ryan Boland. So this is the culmination of the end of the year, and he wants to be part of that. This is what he's worked for, both of these teams.
Well, he better, because he better not miss supper, Joe.
Oh.
You know what happens when you miss supper?
Yeah.
It's a problem. And that off the wrist. Now, clearly not much of an attempt to get out of the way of that one. But a hit by pitch
Next batter, shortstop.
regardless. And when you're trailing by 2 runs in the 5th, you're going to take that.
Sure, you want base runners. Any way to get on base.
So a hit batsman sends Joel Southern down to first base, and that'll bring up James Todd-Hunter. Todd-Hunter grounded out in the 2nd to end the inning. And that pitch up and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. And that pitch in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Leadoff man aboard in Joel Southern. Does he lay down a bunt here, Joe?
Yes, I would.
I figured it's a definite possibility, and why not, as that pitch is lined foul.
Number 8 in your order. You're going to have a runner at second base. Potentially, your leadoff batter is going to get up this inning.
Well, I mean, we can second guess the Chiefs all we want. They've only won 2 straight world championships, so, you know. But either way, I would have had him laying it down to try to get a little momentum and get a runner in scoring position for the meat of the order. And that pitch on the outside corner, so down goes Todd Hunter. A good pitch from Cleary. And there's one away for Jason Sanford. Sanford grounded out in the third in his only other at bat. And that pitch missing up and in. So the sun finally all the way down, lights in full effect now. Shouldn't be any problems finding those fly balls. And a healthy cut, swing and a miss. Of course, Jason Sanford, the catcher for, well, one of the mainstays for Team Canada. He, of course, looking for the trifecta. 2 gold medals already this summer, and looking to add an ISC World Championship to his belt, the third in the last 3 years for the Hill United Chiefs, and down he goes. Sorry, strike 2 on a good off-speed pitch from Cleary. So 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Cleary's going to reset and get Campaign to give him those signs again. And that rise ball's lifted up. Chasing and calling for it is Shane Boland, shortstop, and like the quarterback of the infield should, he calls him off and makes the grab.
Great communication skills there. Shane Boland took right over for Jeremy O'Reilly. Jeremy O'Reilly backed off as soon as he heard Shane's voice. Shane never taking his eye off the ball. Second out of the inning.
Brad Ezekiel now, 1 for 2, led off the ball game with a home run, and immediately we thought, oh boy, here comes Hill United. Until the bottom half, and the Gators exploded for 4. Hill chipped away with 1 in the second, but they have not been able to put anything together since. So 2 out here, runner on first base. Leadoff man Ezekiel with a 1-0 count. And a hard chop ball backhanded by Boland. Long throw in time. So deep in the hole, Shane Boland getting the job done. We continue our slide here, 4-2 the score. We come back to South Bend.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
Think about the greatest tournaments and championships played in fastball. Remember the players who have been at the highest pinnacle of our game, like Adam Folkard and Andrew Kirkpatrick. Gorilla Gold was there helping them win. What has been a closely guarded secret by the most prominent players is now available for you. We're ready to give you a hand to play at your best in all conditions. Visit us online at GorillaGold.com to order your Gorilla Gold products today.
So we take a look there at our all-star cameraman. Jerry Betts and Mike Betts, of course, the Betts brothers. It's Mike really that specializes in the fashion statement, although Jerry's trying to hog a little bit of the glory.
Not even Halloween yet.
It isn't, but nice to guys having a little bit of fun. Lord knows they got enough sun today. So it'll be Aaron Trude.
Doing a great job, boys.
Who came in for Frank Point. And his bunt attempt is missed, so he's in the hole now 0-2. Jerry says don't pump him up at all, but he puts on those glasses when the camera's on. Funny how that is. Huh?
I didn't even recognize him with those glasses.
Hopefully he doesn't pull a cape out of his back pocket either. We'll really be in trouble. And had a notion to chase that rise ball, but didn't go. So 1-2 the count. Bottom of the 5th inning. 4-2 ball game in favor of the Toronto Gators. And that's in there for a strike. Trude knew it. And you can turn that around and send Trude packing. An even 10 strikeouts for Adam Folker. And it'll be back to the top of the shop in Beninoka. Beninoka reached base on an error and scored in the first, grounded out in the second. And that's in there for a strike. Since the home run to Wayne Lalu in the first, Folkart has been all but untouchable. He's surrendered a walk and a ground ball and a fly ball. The rest have all been strikeouts. He only had 1 strikeout before that home run. He has since registered 9. And that pitch is right on the corner for Stu. So if there was any question if Adam Folkert can bear down and turn it up a notch, I think that's pretty much been answered up to this point. And a hard hit ball, backhanded by Nuku. I'm sorry, that's not Nuku, that's Joel Southern. That makes that play look easy. And there are 2 out. Used to see Nuku make that backhanded play, and Southern came up with a sweetie of one himself. So speaking of Nuku, he steps in here with a walk, scored a run in the first, struck out in the third. And off the top, Joe, we spoke about the fact that if you're going to get to Adam Folkert, you got to do it early, because as the innings go on, he just seems to get stronger and stronger, and that appears to be the case here tonight.
Exactly. And you called it to a T, more like the ever-ready battery, or the ever-ready rabbit there. He gets stronger. He thinks maybe you just don't prepare yourself, but once you get into the game against Adam, he's all total concentration, total focus.
A man of few words, without a doubt, very soft-spoken. But when he steps in that circle, he's not your friend. And he nibbles on the outside part of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike to Nuku. And that ball up the middle. Easy play for Folkert, over to first in time. So 1-3 on the putout. 1-2-3 down go the Gators. And we will head to the 6th inning when we come back here in South Bend.
When you think championship rings, no matter what the sport, you think Jostens. At Jostens, we understand the importance of your achievement. We've been privileged to work with professional champions since 1952. Our experience ensures a stunning design, delivered on time with impeccable quality and backed by service for a lifetime. Jostens is the proud ring supplier for the ISC. Jostens, ISC, hand in glove. For more information, contact Cindy Johnson. Championship sales at cindy.johnson@jostens.com. If a man runs for president, interviews for a high-level job, or needs a good table at a smart restaurant, chances are he'll be wearing a suit. Mr. Ned is your custom tailor in New York City. Located at 137 Fifth Avenue, we provide our clients with the highest quality custom suits at affordable pricing. Our range of fabrics is second to none and will fit the needs of any well-dressed professional. Whether it be everyday business attire or a special occasion, we have the ability to make you a man of distinction. Visit the store at 137 Fifth Avenue in New York or see us online at mrnednyc.com. We thank Mr. Ned and Varn Matosian for generously supporting the broadcast program.
Welcome back here as we get set for the top of the 6th inning. It'll be Jeff Ellsworth, Nick Shales, and Steve Mullally, the 2-3-4 hitters for the Hill United Chiefs.
This potentially could be Jeff Ellsworth's last plate appearance in a game. Jeff has announced his retirement, so Jeff has been a prototype ball player, excellent efforts all the time on the field, a great leader, one of the best that ever put on the red and white. I applaud Jeff Ellsworth.
So a bittersweet moment, of course, if it ends this way. We will miss, of course, all the exciting moments that he's provided over the years. Of course, sliding in with the winning run 2 years ago, and of course instrumental in the Hill United victory this year as well. The way he represented Canada, of course, in their gold at both the WBSC Worlds and the Pan Am Games. So hats off to Jeff Ellsworth, of course. And I'm sure that we'll be lucky enough if he's able to pass along all that he's learned to the next generation of fast pitch softball players. As that ball is yanked a mile high but foul.
Well, before he came here, he had his junior girls midget team in Montreal, and they ended up picking up a silver medal. I'm pretty sure that was the outcome. And so one of the guys that wants to put something back into the game again.
And I think that's what the sport needs. You need ambassadors like him to step up and not only teach the kids, but leading by example, so they've had a chance to see what he can do. And that always makes it a lot easier for kids to respect and, you know, to see what you can do if you go out there and do it yourself.
He's a great role model.
2 balls, 1 strike to count to Jeff Ellsworth. And Cleary missing outside. So 3 balls and a strike. And you got to watch with this Hill team. Sometimes you get lulled to sleep a bit. You think that you put it in cruise mode. You've held them down for 3 straight innings. But they can explode so quickly. All the scoring in this ball game has come in the first 2 innings. And down goes Ellsworth, so a leadoff walk. Surrendered by Sean Cleary, and that will bring up Nick Shales. Nick Shales did not fare very well against Kyle Linton. 2 strikeouts. You don't see that too often. Nick Shales, an outstanding hitter. So now would be a good time for Shales to advance the runner at the very least, but something more would certainly go a long way to helping his club, and a big hack there. Jails has to lay off that rise ball. Easier said than done, of course, Joe. It sure comes in sweet.
Oh, just jumps though.
Yeah, well, then when you swing, it's already at your eyes.
Those last 6 inches.
That's right. That's the problem, the last 6 inches. And that's in there for a called strike. So
great mix.
Sean Cleary went with the rise, then came with the drop. And he's up in the count 0-2. And that pitch, a good 0-2 pitch, Joe. Out of the zone. And the count now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Great waste pitch there, but Shills didn't bite.
And that pitch in tight to run the count even at 2-2. And a swing and a miss. So Nick Shales, strikeout victim for the 3rd time.
Good call there by catcher Kalen Compain.
So Steve Mullally now reached base on an error, got caught stealing, and struck out in the 4th. So the meat of the order hasn't been able to produce here for these Hill United Chiefs. Ellsworth 0 for 2 with a walk, Shales 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, and Mullally 0 for 2 with a strikeout himself. And a healthy cut. Of course, Mullally and Cleary, teammates on Team Canada. A couple of the veteran leaders on the club. Cleary, of course, the quiet leader. Mullally, far from that.
He likes to express himself.
Listen, if you don't like Mullally, there's something wrong with
Yeah.
you, because that's a really, really personable guy. And he's one of the great ambassadors to this game. As that pitch missing up to run the count even at 1-1. We've enjoyed watching him play over the years as well. No one does that lobster song like he does, I tell you. And that ball laced up the middle, base hit. Ellsworth's going to have a look, and he's going for 3rd, and he's in there. Mullally takes 2nd on the play. So wakey, wakey. Here come the Chiefs with a little something with runners on 2nd and 3rd, and just 1 out.
Good play by Beninoka to charge that ball. Made it a real close play over at 3rd base. Jeremy O'Reilly picked up that ball. O'Reilly thought he had him out.
Well, the tag was actually around the chest area, so if you go in feet first, you got to figure the legs that have extended and should be on the bag, so the runner being safe. A good time to meet in the circle for the Gators here, with Jason Hill coming up. Hill has struck out and walked. And despite the fact that these guys may have been struggling up to this point, Joe, it doesn't take long for these guys to wake up, and Jason Hill is one of those guys.
This game is far from being over.
So tying run is in scoring position. And that pitch is just outside from Sean Cleary. Jason Hill has hit some impressive home runs. Did some damage, of course, at the WBSC and then was instrumental at the Pan Am Games to Canada earning gold. And that ball is lifted up and drifting. And about to climb that fence was Kalen Campaign. Don't tell me he doesn't want that out. One ball, one strike to Jason Hill. A pivotal point here in this ball game, Joe. Trailing by 2 are the Chiefs. And a swing and a miss. So Cleary just reared back and put a little extra on that. Not bad for a guy who's thrown a couple ball games already today. Still has some zip left in him. So Jason Hill has some work to do. Trailing the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Campaign and Cleary will get on the same page here. Got to get an out here at the very least. Somewhere, somehow. And that one bounced in there. Good job by Campaign to keep that in front of him. And not allow the runner to advance. You can bet Ellsworth is sniffing and waiting for an opportunity. That pass ball gets away. Ellsworth scores, and you can bet that Mullally will advance to third on the play. And now you're in the same situation, only with a 1-run lead. So good defense there. 2-2 the count. And once again, a meeting of the minds.
Crucial time in the game, so make sure you're both on the same page.
Better to have that conversation than to say we should have had that conversation. And that pitch is driven out to right field, and you can get out of this ballpark. A 3-run home run. Jason Hill on a line on time. And boy, oh boy, he's given Hill United a 5-4 lead. We spoke about that, Joe, that this guy can erupt at any time. You said this game was far from over, and you were right.
That was just a rope, a clothesline, whatever you want to call it.
Frozen rope, thawed rope. That's right, you can call it what you want, but that was out of here in a hurry. Just cleared the fence. And had people out there in right field ducking for cover. Tough when you have to go to watch a ball game and wear a helmet out in the outfield because you're worried about getting hit, because that was a rocket. And this is buzzing, and Mark Johnson will trot down and took that one right around the head area. Luckily, no injury sustained, as
That brings up the second baseman, Joel.
he moseys on down, and you got to figure that Sean Cleary's a wee bit rattled after that line drive home run from Jason Hill. And
We just talked about when the Galen campaign went out to the mound, they wanted to make sure they're on the same page. Something must have got away.
Well, I think that as a pitcher, if you could throw the ball exactly where you want it every single time, as that one from Joe Southern is lifted up, and miscommunication, that ball's going to drop. So Shane Boland and Thomas Inoka definitely not on the same page. Not sure who you're going to give that error to.
I'm giving a base hit.
You're giving a base hit, as is our official score. So that landing right between them. And it looks like Shane Boland might be hurt. He's down on his knees out there in shallow left. We don't know what he might have hurt on that collision. Both guys were coming in hard for the ball, and maybe they tapped knees or something along those lines. So it looks like it's his right knee that he's trying to limber up. So what a change of events here. Cruising along. And all of a sudden, 3 runs, courtesy a home run from Jason Hill. And how fitting, Joe, the summer that he's had.
Yeah.
Man. So Shane Boland appears to be okay and game worthy. And James Todhunter will step up with just 1 out and 2 men aboard. So still a lot of work for the Gators to do here, Joe.
He's throwing a lot of pitches this inning.
He sure has. And couldn't hold up, as Todhunter could not check his swing. Saw that home run. Something else we haven't seen all week is a certain someone actually sitting down to enjoy a little bit of a rest, usually on the fly. She's been like a blur. Clearly she's the glue that holds this facility together, as Cleary misses outside. One ball, 1 strike, 1 away. 3 runs pushed across here by the Hill United Chiefs to take a 5-4 lead. And Cleary misses up and out. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Shout out to Dave Burney. Finally watching our broadcast back home.
Well, we already gave Dave Burney his props, of course, the Masters guru, and we miss you this year, Dave. Usually you're strolling around the ballpark getting all the info. And
I think Dave was watching this, but he was up at that nice cottage he's got.
Yeah, I guess a real painful option for Dave.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a cold one. He's taking it easy. So what's up, Dave? Hope you're well. 2 balls and 2 strikes to James Todhunter, the shortstop. And Cleary taking a lot of time to get that sign. Now, sometimes you take a lot of time because there's a runner on second base and you don't want him to relay any signs, or you're going through a different set. Sometimes you just need a bit of a break. And that pitch is fouled off. Cleary looked a little wobbly on that delivery. I don't know if you caught that, Joe, on the lean back. Either way, with the foul off, the count remains at 2-2. And that ball is a mile high and a mile foul. So Todd Hunter turned on that pitch, but couldn't keep it between the white lines.
Gators have been out on that field for a long time in this inning.
You know how those long innings can weigh on you, Joe. I think everyone's been on the receiving end at some time. And that pitch bounced in there. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And this, of course, this big inning here all started with a leadoff walk. Shales struck out. Mullally singled. Hill, 3-run home run. Johnson hit by a pitch. Southam single. And it's Todd Hunter 3-2, and it's down. So the bases are loaded. And we're not quite sure how much Sean Cleary's going to have left. But looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter. And it will be Craig Crawford coming in to hit for Jason Sanford.
Is number 20, Craig Crawford.
So a different look here with the bags full and just 1 away. So if ever there was a time for Sean Cleary to bear down and try to minimize the damage, now is the time. A hit here, Joe, and I don't know if the Gators will be able to recover. It'll be a mountain to climb. I mean, this inning's so long, Fulkert's probably back up to full strength. He might have to re-warm up again.
Craig Crawford on the front cover of the 2015 ISC World Championship Guide. He drove in the winning run in last year's championship game down in Kitchener.
So no stranger here to pressure situations. And he went around. So 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Nothing better than the drama unfolding before our eyes, Joe. And that pitch fouled off. A good pitch from Cleary. Outside corner drop, and Crawford just got enough of it. He's in the hole, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that pitch bounced in. So 2-2. Again, a good job by Campaign to smother that ball and not allow it to find its way to the backstop.
Crucial part of the game here. Gators have to be looking for a big out. You don't want any more runs to score.
And there's the big out you're talking about. Sean Cleary all over the outside corner for strike 3. And the 9th batter of the inning will step up in Brad Ezekiel, the leadoff man, with 2 away here and the bases loaded.
Brad Ezekiel.
You gotta think, Joe, if the Gators are able to get out of this just trailing by 1, they may have some of that momentum. A hit here, though, could break this one wide open.
Exactly.
And Cleary missing up. Both dugouts on their feet here. Like you said, a pivotal moment in this ball game. already pushed 3 runs across to take the lead, their first lead of the ball game. And that gets away and is going to score easily on the play. On that wild pitch is Mark Johnson. So 6-4 now, the lead. And the runners move up. So Todd Hunter's on second, Southern's on third. And the count's 2 balls and no strikes. So I guess this is going to be Cleary's to win or lose. So it looks like Kyle Linton may be throwing again in the bullpen. It was Brad Ezekiel that opened the ball game with a home run. And that one is lifted up, and it won't be as far as Thomas Sanoka settles under it. And finally, 9 men come to the plate. 4 runs pushed across. It is a 6-4 Hill United lead when we come back for the home half of the 6th here on the ISC Network.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
Welcome back here. Thomas Sanoka, followed by Shane Boland and Brad Rona, the scheduled 3 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So, Joe, you put 4 runs on the board against Adam Folkert in the first inning. You haven't got a sniff since. So how do you now rebound after they put up 4 and take the lead?
Well, you got to, again, just chip away. You got to get a single. You got to get a walk. Find a way to get on base. Start manufacturing runs again. It's been a long, quiet 4 innings for this Gator team. They've been sitting stagnant for a long time.
And nibbling. So Thomas Sanoka, strikeout victim twice, 0 for 2 today. And that one's fouled off. So a bit of a surprise. Well, not really, Joe, when you think about it. You had to figure that this Hill team, you can't hold them down for all that long. You shut them out for 3 innings. But that's a good hitting ball club. 1-2 count. And a swing and a miss. So 3rd time, Thomas Sanoka has gone down swinging, and that'll bring up Shane Boland, the shortstop. He's grounded out and struck out.
Other than that walk back in the 4th inning, that's the only base runner to reach base since that 1st inning for the Toronto Gators.
So Adam Folkert has been Adam Folkert. And that may have gotten him on the toe. But the umpire says, I didn't see it, didn't hear it. So you're going to have to come back into the batter's box.
Well, he's doing his job. He's finding that way to get to first base. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition or not, but.
Well, I don't know either. And I mean, you can't really go by sound. You have to go by whether or not you saw it. If you didn't see it. So they are going to call him back to the batter's box. And Shane is going to take his time getting there, obviously. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd, Kyle Smith, of course. Glad to have you with us here as we wrap up the 2015 ISC Men's World Fast Pitch Championship. And just a shout out to the Swashbucklers back home in New York City who have been tuning in all week and are glued to another epic final. So what's up, fellas? And we hope to see you guys back here at the World Tournament sometime very soon. So a 1-1 count to Bolin. And that one is floated up out of the zone, 2-1. Kyle Smith, of course, has his finger on the pulse of the fastball community. He is the
social media community.
He's the biggest social butterfly you're ever going to see, okay? As that's in there for a strike. Well, we don't know if it's an oxymoron or if we're going to allude to that heavy finger comment that we heard earlier. Well, yes, the light finger on the 300-pound dude, you're right. That was a good one, I have to say. And that pitch on the outside corner, don't beg, turn that K the other way. And grab a seat, no sense pointing at the home plate umpire. As there are two away now for Brad Rona. So Rona, of course, singled, cashed in 2 in the first, and flied out in the fourth. And Folkart starts him off with a strike, and you can tell now Adam's starting to sniff the finish line as he's ramping it up here. And that ball is flared. An easy play for Joel Southern. And that will do it. So 1, 2, 3, down go the Gators. Quietly into the night. And we will mosey on over to the top of the 7th when we come back. The ISC Network.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
In the Quad Cities. For lodging packages, go to visitquadcities.com.
Right fielder, Jeff Ellsworth.
Welcome back here. It'll be the 2, 3, 4 hitters for the Hill United Chiefs heading into the top of the 7th inning. 6-4 in favor of the two-time defending champions. Ellsworth, Shales, and Mullally. And the difference has been that 6th inning and the 3-run blast from Jason Hill. You don't see the Chiefs blow too many leads, although early in the week they held a 2-0 lead heading into the 7th. Gave up 3, managed to push 1 across in the bottom of the 7th to tie it, and then went on to win it in the 9th. Ellsworth swings through to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lance Wynn, Joe Todd, Kyle Smith. Moving closer to the finish line as that one's the other way, and a good play from Bolin in time. So some good defense. Second time Bolin's had to go deep in the hole to make a play.
Great range there too. Moved 5 or 6 feet, still caught that ball while it was in motion. So
That brings up third baseman.
So Nick Shales will step in now, and he's had a dismal night. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. So I'm sure he'd like to do a little something. And that says a lot about your team when one of the best all-around players in the game is 0 for, but you hold a 6-4 lead with just 3 outs to get.
well, that's the strength of the roster though too. Great depth there.
And that ball is lifted up and fouled out of play. So the Hill United Chiefs here looking for a base runner to maybe tack on some insurance. Cleary taking a little bit of extra time. Hill, though, very efficient with leads. And Cleary missing up and out. 2 balls, 1 strike. And that pitch in. Good job to get the barrel of the bat out in front on that pitch. It was on the inner half of the plate. But can't do much with it except foul it off, and that's exactly what he did. Two pitch is launched into the night sky, but settling under it is Thomas Inoka, and he makes the play for the second out. So in will step Steve Mullally. Mullally reached base in the first, got caught stealing, struck out in the 4th, singled, and scored a run in the 6th. He, of course, was on base when Jason Hill went deep and gave Hill United their first lead of the ball game. Sorry, their second lead of the ball game. They led 1-0 courtesy a leadoff home run from Brad Ezekiel, that in the first. Look here and you can just see that the Toronto Gators potentially have run out of gas, at least on the offensive end, and that's easy to do when you've got Adam Fulkert in the circle. He certainly didn't help. So this game, obviously, Sean Cleary's to finish, as he's 1 out away from getting his team into the dugout. And that ball lifted up and out of play.
Well, that loss on Monday to Circle Tap Dukes by the Gators really put them on that losing side, and that way you've got potentially 3 more games to play. Those 3 games are actually being played today. This is their 3rd game on the diamond,
So you got to give these Toronto Gators some credit, Joe. Not that this game is over, but to fight back to win 2 one-run ball games, one of them in extra innings, in the blazing heat starting at 12 noon, and have that all climax in the championship game here where you held a lead for potentially 5 innings. You have to take your hat off to them. They certainly have put their heart and soul into it, and Sean Cleary, of course, has given everything that he's got. And the guys are still competing. And a foul ball. One ball, 1 strike. So Cleary going to take some little more time here. And that ball is driven just foul. That almost caught some of third base there, Joe. I think you got to play Mullally on the line. He pulls the ball. More often than not. Send a shout out to Ricky Green and his family. Gabby, Justin, Lewis, watching at home. Of course, Coach is here with the Toronto Gators squad, both the Masters and the Open team. And that ball is hard hit, bobbled, and not in time. It's going to get away. Mullally's going to take second on the play. So an error, E5, will allow Mullally to advance to second base on the throw. And that will bring up Jason Hill, of course, the hero of the day right now for the Hill United Chiefs. Last time he was up, it was a rocket that just cleared the right field fence for a 3-run home run, giving Hill a 5-4 lead. They added another, and that's where we stand right now. And time called, so Hill will have to step out. Campaign will reset, as will Cleary. And that pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Two away. And a swing and a miss. So the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And that ball slapped, fielded at second, and a good play there from Nathan Nuku. So 4-3 in the putout. No runs pushed across. But a lead, 6-4. Last chance for the Toronto Gators when we come back for the bottom of the seventh.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
Welcome back here as it's money time. Bottom of the seventh inning. It'll be Wayne Lalu, Jeremy O'Reilly, and Kalen Campaign. And a big rip from Lalu comes up empty for strike one. Lalu, of course, homered in the first and walked in the fourth. After the fourth inning, boy, that scorecard looks awfully sparse. Man. And that's in there for a strike.
Wayne didn't agree with that call. Stepped out of the box.
12 strikeouts up to this point. 11 of them coming after he surrendered the home run to Wayne Lalu in the first. And a nibble on that. That looked like a pretty close pitch, Joe.
Well, especially that last pitch was called on an outside corner, but this one missed by maybe just another inch.
Just another inch. And Lalu with a big cut fouls it back. So Lalu, he's not overswinging. That's the way he swings.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what. Now he will adjust his swing according to the situation in the count. But when he can take a rip, that's exactly what he does.
He has a very small, compact swing, but the strength of his arms and his shoulders, that's what carries that ball.
One, two, the count. And Lalu again fighting that one off to stay alive. So you fall behind in the count now. You try and foul off those tough pitches and hope you get something that you can handle. Adam Folker doesn't have a lot of things you can handle. So that's where he's not very gracious that way, Joe.
No, he's not.
And a swing and a miss. So Adam Folkard and the Hill United Chiefs 2 outs away from a three-peat.
Great pitch by Adam Folkard. Down in. If Wayne was going to get that ball, it was just going to go on the ground anyway. So wasn't going to have full contact.
So one away for Jeremy O'Reilly. 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He, of course, had the unfortunate circumstance to have to follow up Wayne Lalu's home run in the first. And that's what appeared to have upset Adam Fulker because he's been lights out ever since.
Don't wake up a sleeping bear.
No, leave the bear, let him sleep. And that pitch is outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. And a cut there. Got a piece of it, but didn't matter. Came up empty. 2-2. And a rise ball, down goes O'Reilly. So you talk about gassing it up. 1 out away here is Adam Fulker. "14 strikeouts, Joe, and it'll be Kalen Campaign representing the last chance as he waves at strike 1. And Folkart, you can just see that he's confident and he's looking to shut the door here and close this one out. And he comes with a drop that misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 away. And that ball is chopped foul. So 1-2 the count. Folkert 1 strike away here from the celebration. And he would come away with a little something after coming away empty in Saskatoon and in Toronto. As that ball is laced out to left field. So Kalen Campaign says, not quite yet. You got a wee little bit of life left. And that will bring up Frank Poynton, who will be re-entered into the game for Aaron Trude. So wouldn't this be something, Joe? All week this has been the code red diamond. So still down to their final out with the runner on. So Frank Poynton, a good hitter to face one of, if not the best pitcher in the world in Adam Fulkart, and it's a ground ball. Tough hop, flipped over to second, it's all over. The Hill United Chiefs are the 2015 ISC Men's World Champions for the 3rd straight year.
Congratulations to the Hill United team. A great come-from-behind effort put on the mound today, all week.
What a display, very methodical. They went through the week, decided they were going to win 1 game a day, and that's exactly what they did. So congratulations to the undefeated Hill United Chiefs. They had a scare earlier in the week, survived it, and were the best team when it was all said and done. 6-4 the final. Congratulations to the Toronto Gators, a very respectable 2nd place. Considering they came in ranked 5th, they will move up. Stick around, we've got the award ceremony on behalf of Joe Todd, my partner, Kyle Smith, Blair Setford, the Betts brothers, TPC, Taylor Weldon, and myself, Lance Wynn. I want to thank you for joining us Stick around. It's been a wonderful week in South Bend. We'll see you next time.
Murphy's Fish and Chips is not only a great place to get some of the best seafood in Canada, but is also one of the best fastball sponsors in the game. Voted Nova Scotia's best fish and chips by Eastlink TV, Murphy's is a family institution since 1996 and a proud fastball sponsor of many Canadian and ISC championship teams. Open 7 days a week. Come join us for our famous English-style fish and chips or any of our daily specials. Murphy's is located at 88 Esplanade in Truro, Nova Scotia. We thank Dave T. Anderson and Murphy's Fish and Chips for their commitment to fastball and the broadcast program.
First Nations Payment Systems strives to deliver innovative and secure solutions that benefit merchants everywhere. We can help you decrease your costs and increase your revenues. With more than 1 million merchant locations using the First Nations Payment Systems platform worldwide, you can't go wrong by making the switch. When you partner with First Nations Payments, your clients will benefit from our world-class payment experts, support staff, and cutting-edge technologies. To learn more about how First Nations Payments can help your organization, contact us through our website at firstnationspayments.ca. We thank First Nations Payments for their generous sponsorship of the broadcast program.
this down? Until we meet again. Nice to meet you. Okay. Closer. What? Well, no, I ended up getting it. I tried calling your phone, but your phone was here. Good to meet you. What's that?
Buffalo Wild
Number 91, Shane Bolin.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champions for the third time, the Hill United Chiefs. Now time for individual awards. The RBI leader with 16, tying a record at the ISC World Championship from the Toronto Gators, Wayne. The leading hitter of the World Tournament. 12 at-bats with 9 hits, a .750 batting average. From the Bloomington Sticks, Ryan Merriman. And now time for the all-world presentations. Second team, all-world. Designated hitter from the A1 Bombers, Marshall Crum. Outfielder from the A1 Bombers, Derek Kennedy. Outfielder from the New York Gremlins, Jeff Goolagong. Outfielder from the Peligro Gremlins, Shea Bryant. Outfielder from the Peligro Gremlins, Matt Ratliff. The all-world infielders, second team. From the Bloomington Sticks, Ryan Merriman. From the California A's, Kevin Castillo. From the Hill United Chiefs, Joel Southam. From the New York Gremlins, Nick Mullins. From the A1 Bombers, Tyler Dudley. Second team all-world catchers. From Denmark, Wisconsin, Circle Tap Dukes, Corey Timu. And from the New York Gremlins, Rafael Flores. Second team all-world pitchers. From the New York Gremlins, Andrew Kirkpatrick. From the Toronto Gators, Sean Cleary. From the Pennsylvania Power, Quemule Mata. Your second team all-world nominees. First team all-world designated hitter from the Toronto Gators, Frank Poynton. Outfielder, Ben Inoka from the Toronto Gators. From the Toronto Gators, Wayne Lalu.
I thought I was actually doing pretty good. It was just the guys coming from the beer tent. They were late. They never want me to wait for them. First.
From the Hill United Chiefs, outfielder Brad Ezekiel. From the California A's, Marcus Tan. First team All-World infielders. From the Hill United Chiefs, Nick Shales. From the Hill United Chiefs, Steve Mullally. From the Toronto Gators, infielder Nathan Nukunuku.
Where is he?
From the California A's, infielder Derek Mason. From the Toronto Gators, infielder Brad Rona. First team All-World catchers. From the Toronto Gators, Colin Campaign. And from the Hill United Chiefs, Jason Sanford. First pitchers. From the Hill United Chiefs, Adam Folkert. From the A1 Bombers, Devin McCullough.
Hi, boss.
From the Toronto Gators, Kyle Linton. Ladies and gentlemen, your first team All-World nominees. If everyone could hang around and take the group photo for the All-Worlds before you depart, there's 3 more awards to hand out. The Kevin Hurley Newcomer of the Year. From the Toronto Gators, Colin Campaign. The Leroy Zimmerman Most Outstanding Pitcher. From the Hill United Chiefs, Adam Folkert.
Goyette, Most Valuable Player for the 2015 ISC World Tournament. United Chiefs, Nick Shales. I didn't pick him. I just announced it. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the closing ceremonies and awards presentation. Thank you for attending the 2015 ISC Men's World Tournament. We'll see you next year in Quad Cities. I thought it should